Hi, Coach Ian here. Kadalasang tanong ng mga network engineers kapag ang usapan ay network automation is that, should they be using Python or Ansible? Ito kasi yun parang dalawang giants, if you will, pagdating sa network automation. That's why, in this video, we're going to talk about the key differences between the two so that we could help you out to decide which is the solution that's going to work for you better. Let's dive right into it. Okay, so meron tayo ditong isang table of several check items that compares the values between Python and Ansible. So on the left is Python. Ito yung logo niya. On the right is Ansible. So let's talk about licensing first. In terms of licensing, they are both open source platforms. So Python is an open source programming language. Ansible, on the other hand, is an open source automation platform. So, yun yung pinagkaiba nila. Pareha silang open source, pero they are, in itself, ay magkaibang uri ng product. So, Python is a programming language. So, the advantage of having a programming language as your automation solution is that you can technically do anything that you want. Granted that you know how to code or program it. Okay? So, kung meron kang ganung level ng technical acumen, ganong kaalaman sa programming, pwede mong gawin kahit ano. Kasi meron kang programming language eh. On the other hand, what makes Ansible better, kumbaga, is disadvantage niya, hindi siya programming language. Ansible is, in fact, developed using Python. So, kaya ako nasabi kanina na kahit ano pwede mong gawin sa Python kasi yun mismo yung ginawa or ginamit para magawa si Ansible. However, Ansible in and itself is already a product or solution. Kita nyo nga dito, automation platform. Take note, automation here is in a general sense. You could use Ansible not just for network automation, but automating all sorts of things. Mamaya, on the next slide, I'll show you guys ano yung mga pwede nyong gamitan ng Ansible. It's so many. Okay, so yun. Do you need just a programming language for you to have flexibility to do what you want to do? Or do you want to have a readily available automation platform like Ansible, which is ready to serve you? So that's a major deciding factor there. All right. So kayo magsasabi. I'm not here to tell which is which one's better, which one's not. You have to decide for yourself. I'm just here to cite the differences and potentially help you guys to decide. Kasi parehas ko itong hawakan eh. It's just that I'm using Ansible primarily sa work ko because I have my reasons. My team has its own reasons, so you might have yours different. So, guide lang ako dito. Alright, next up, supported operating system. Ang ibig sabihin nito, saan mo pwedeng i-install si Python? It can be installed both on the Windows or Linux operating systems. So, flexible. Ansible, on the other hand, at this time of recording, April of 2020, sa Linux lang siya pwede. Still Linux only. Now, don't get me wrong, baka may mag-research sa inyo Ansible for Windows. There are Ansible modules for Windows. Ang ibig sabihin nun, you can manage Windows devices or Windows hosts using Ansible. It doesn't mean that you can install Ansible on Windows. Merong paraan, pero essentially, sa Linux pa rin yung bagsak mo. So, it should be on a Linux platform. Okay? Next up, flavor. So, ano-ano ba yung mga offerings na meron ang Python at Ansible? Of course, Python doesn't have any dahil siya mismo ay programming language. If you want to create some offering or flavor out of Python, you do it. Programmer ka or developer ka. Ansible offers three major flavors, if you will. Nandyan yung Ansible Core, which is also known as Ansible Engine. Ito yung usage ng Ansible right on the CLI or command line interface. So that is where you would issue Ansible ad hoc commands, or that's where you would run your Ansible playbooks on the command line itself. Itong dalawa naman na to, AWX and Red Hat Ansible Tower, are what you call automation platforms. Ito yung mga web-based portal. Meron kang GUI or graphical user interface. That's where you would do anything Ansible. So, pwede ka doong mag-schedule ng mga jobs or templates. Pwede ka dong mag-launch periodically ng playbook, role-based access control, pwede rin doon. So, essentially, doon mo gagawin lahat without doing some CLI syntax. Kung familiar kayo sa Cisco ASDM, which is being used to manage Cisco ASA firewalls, it's roughly the same. GUI siya. Okay, next up, code complexity. Another major factor that you need to consider when deciding which solution to use between the two. Unahin natin yung mahirap. Okay. So, dahil programming language ang Python, complexity would vary kasi it would actually depend on the programmer or developer kung ano ba yung gusto niyang gawin using Python. So, of course, that could be just a simple code, but it could also get really complex. Pwede ka nga gumawa ng games using Python eh. So, depende yon. And just to give you a rough idea, it's oftentimes being compared to other interpreted languages such as those listed here. Para magka-idea ka. So, kung familiar ka sa isa dyan, or kung wala kang alam sa mga yan, that's gonna be a bit difficult kasi kailangan meron ka talaga ditong programming skill. Kung hindi mo kayang mag-program, how can you make a product out of this, right? Hindi ito ready-made na product or solution tulad nitong kabila. So, since automation platform na tong Ansible, may nangyayaring abstraction in underlying complexity. So, when we say abstraction, parang hinahide or tinatago na sa'yo yung mga nangyayaring complex stuff. Dahil ang codes nun, it's just simple human-readable codes or syntax. Hindi siya actually mukhang programming language dahil to begin with, this is not really a programming language. Yes, it's developed from Python, but it's meant to be simple so that people without programming language may be able to use it. Okay, so yun ha. Major difference ng dalawa, code complexity. Which leads me to the next one, next item, learning curve. So if you're gonna be using Ansible, there's just gonna be a low learning curve. However, if you want to use Python as your automation solution, prepare for some medium to high learning curve kasi nga, you're ought to learn a programming language. Kailangan matuto ka muna ng language before you could create your automation scripts, which is gonna work for your employment or for your work, the network that you're managing. Okay, so hindi po pwedeng magamit nyo yung either sa dalawang to nang wala kayong ginagawang pag-aaral or research. Always remember, in the field of information and communications technology, it's a never-ending learning process. Kailangan nyo lagi mag-aral, mag-research, para maging relevant ka rin sa market. At itong automation na to is slowly becoming popular, patok to. Actually, hot skill to sa ngayon, lalo sa ibang bansa. Now, let's move on. Scalability, perhaps another... Actually, lahat naman ng mga nandito, major factor, yung mga points na nandito. So, scalability means gaano kadali mo pwedeng magamit si Python or Ansible to support a growing and bigger network. Sa isang network na mas dumadami yung needs, right? Converged network. So, Python, since you're the programmer or developer, you have to be the one to make it scalable. If you don't know how to do it, then that's gonna be a problem. Kaya nga sabi ko dito, may learning curve talagang kaakibat to. You have to read some blogs or forums or guides out there na para malaman mo kung paano mo magagawang scalable yung Python program mo. On the other hand, Ansible is meant to be enterprise ready, especially if you're using AWX or Red Hat Ansible Tower. Mga tools na yon na ready to be integrated kaagad sa network nyo, given that you already have the infrastructure and the environment, that should work like a charm. Okay? So yun. Ready to use. Yung kabila, ikaw yung magkapagana. The good thing though is that both of them are multi-vendor. So multi-vendor here meaning pwede mo ba itong gamitin sa non-Cisco devices? Pang Cisco lang ba to o hindi? So fortunately, both have a multi-vendor support. At yung vendor support na yon is basically sa Ansible, it's being dictated by what you call the Ansible modules. So, yung tinatawag nating Ansible module is is a code made out of Python. So, parang Python script siya na i-call mo na lang sa loob ng Ansible playbook. Kapag nag-Ansible ka, ang tawag dun sa ginagawa mong, let's call it na lang program. So, yung tawag sa program na ginagawa mo is an Ansible playbook. You call Ansible modules inside there so you would have additional privileges or capabilities kung ano man yung gusto mong gawin. And those modules are written in Python. Therefore, you can basically do anything out of Python. Kasi Ansible was made out of Python. Yan nga lang, Python would directly work on a network device if the platform itself has it. So kung hindi naka-install si Python dun sa remote network device nyo, it's not gonna work. Ang kinagandaan kasi dito kay Ansible, yes, it's made out of Python, pero mismong yung mga network vendors, gumagawa sila ng sarili nilang modules for Ansible itself. Okay, so in fact, let's take a look on what are the available network modules that we have for Ansible. So, i-search nyo lang Ansible network modules sa inyong favorite search engine. Makita nyo agad dito, network modules, Ansible documentation. Let's open that up. Okay, so lahat nandito, this is a comprehensive listing of all the network modules that you have for Ansible. So kung mag-scroll lang kayo dito sa baba, on the left pane, ito mismo yung lahat ng supported ng vendors. So pag gumamit ka ng Ansible, lahat to pwede mong i-automate. So you have here your iOS at network modules. So ito yung gagamitin mo for iOS and iOS XE devices. Kung carrier grade yung equipment mo, you should be using iOS XR. So, nandito rin si Nexus, NXOS. Nandito si Juniper, Junos. Nandito si Fortinet, 40, ayan. F5 for load balancer guys dyan. EOS, Arista. Cumulus Linux. Checkpoint firewalls, Aruba, HP. ASA for Cisco ASA firewalls, you get the drill. Lahat tong mga to, ang bawat isang to yung ay tinatawag na module. So, if you wanna run show commands against a Cisco iOS device, you should be using iOS_command. Ayan o, run commands on remote devices running Cisco iOS. So, it's a pre-built module that you can use. Tatawagin mo lang yung mga parameters na yan. At ang kinagandaan sa Ansible ay laging may documentation, meron ng examples. So, essentially, madali siyang maintindihan ng isang tao na even he or she is not proficient with programming. Ito yung itsura po ng ng mga Ansible tasks. It's not the whole playbook itself, but this is how you create or develop tasks in Ansible. Simple lang, di ba? Mamaya, on the next slide, may kita nyo yung side-by-side Ansible playbook versus a Python script. So, that's it for Ansible. Ang daming support. Sa Python, pwede mong gawin yung mga module na yun. Pwede kang gumawa even your own module. Yun nga lang, kailangan mo ng programming skills to do that. You can't readily do that unless you're someone who's proficient with Python na. Okay, so next big thing is integration. To which systems you can integrate Python and Ansible? Again, Python being just a programming language, sobra siyang basic or payak. So, kailangan mong gumawa ng way for you to be able to integrate your Python program into some system, some remote system, whatever that is. Ansible can easily integrate with other systems. In fact, they already have a page for Ansible integrations. Check natin yan. Dito ko ipapakita sa inyo ano ba yung mga pwede nyong i-automate using Ansible. So, maaaring tinatanong kayo ng supervisor or manager nyo, bakit ba natin pipiliin yung Ansible over Python? Because you can easily, if you purchase Ansible, Red Hat Ansible Tower, yung paid version, so pag binili mo yun, pwede ka mag-automate ng virtualization, infrastructure, alright? So, virtualization, OSS, storage, mga storage engineers, networks, ito na yung pinag-usapan natin kanina. Pwede ka mag-automate ng containers, so gumagamit dyan ng Dockers, cloud, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, GCP, OpenStack, nandyan. DevOps tools, yung Git, GitHub, Bitbucket, pwede nyo yung i-automate yan. Ito yung sinasabi ko na Jenkins, ServiceNow, ticketing platform yan. So, ang dami, di ba? So, ito yung mga gumamit na ng integration using Ansible, mga companies na ginagamit ang Ansible in one of their solutions. So, we're not just talking about Ansible for networks. Ang daming gamit ni Ansible. And the good thing to know there is that it's been made possible because of Python. Dahil ito yung ginamit na language to develop this. Okay, open source, then binili ni Red Hat, kaya nagkaroon ng Red Hat edition ng Ansible, yung Ansible Tower. And that's pretty much it. So kung napapansin nyo, pwede nyo naman talagang gawin kahit ano sa Python. Yun nga lang, it's not in a ready state for you to be able to use it right out of the box. You have to do some code and development para magawa mo yung kung ano yung in-expect mo dito. Alright, lastly, if you want to learn more about Python and Ansible, I've linked here the URLs to each of their websites. Okay? So I hope that that discussion has given you key knowledge kung paano kayo makakapag-decide which solution to use between the two. And now, here's how a Python script looks like on the left. And on the right is how an Ansible playbook looks like. So I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to take a look at this, digest. Dito nyo na tingnan. Complexity, alright? Code complexity. Sa tingin nyo ba kaya mo yan as a network engineer? Kakayanin ba yan ng team mo? Would this seem to be a viable and feasible solution for whatever current network you're supporting? You be the judge. Alright. Ngayon, malamang nalilito pa rin kayo, di ba? So, which one is for you? So, to wrap this discussion up, I'll be giving you some things to consider. Iba't ibang checkpoints na maaaring na dapat nyo i-consider before jumping into a decision. Okay? Kasi hindi to basta-basta na sampitek nyo lang. Ay, Python na lang tayo. That decision should be soundly made. Okay? So, let's talk about scalability. Ayan. Scalability, ang dapat na papasok dyan sa discussion nyo is that how big of a network are we looking at? How many devices do we wanna configure using automation? So, maaaring sapat na si Python. Kung meron kang few developers dyan na gumagamit ng Python, baka pwedeng sila na yung mag-manage ng mga network devices nyo. However, if you're looking at thousands or tens of thousands of devices, siguro, mas dapat mo sigurong explore din yung mga automation platform. Hindi lang Ansible yung nandyan, marami pang iba. So, there's also Salt, Chef, Puppet, just to name a few. However, if we're talking automating network devices, I'm an advocate for Ansible. Dahil yun mismo yung ginagamit ko sa team at sa work. We have the reason for that. Ansible is perhaps one of the best, if not the best, automation platform for network devices. If you're automating Linux hosts, so lang for Ansible, dun ka pwede mag-explore ng ibang solution. Okay? So, hindi ako Linux guy, I'm a network guy, so I'm just speaking for the network industry. Okay? Manpower. Okay, so ngayon, alam mo na yung level ng scalability na gusto mo. Okay? How much automation would you need on how much big of a network? Ngayon, do you have enough manpower to do network automation? Ito ba ay isang trabaho na kukunin mo as an individual lang, solo ka lang? Maaring it might be a couple of engineers. Or maybe you guys can have a dedicated network automation team. So, pag-isipan nyo yun. Next would be the skills. Skill set, technical acumen. Ang tinutukoy lang dito, in the current state ng team mo or ikaw, do you already have the programming knowledge and skills required for automation? Nakagamit ka na ba ng Python even before? Or even a similar language, kahit C, C++, Java, or JavaScript. Kasi kung meron kang experience sa programming, medyo madali lang yung learning curve. Yung sunod na item. Kung wala, if you don't have any programming skills right at the moment, then the least learning curve that would get you into automation immediately is choosing Ansible. So you have to weigh your options on each of these checkpoints, okay? Again, I'm not here to say which one's better, which one's the right solution for you. I'm just here to help guide you guys out. Okay, so learning curve. Laging meron. Mas steep lang ang learning curve sa Python. Mababa lang yung, kumbaga, learning slope sa Ansible. Next, culture change. Oo, pinag-uusapan natin network automation, but is your company ready for a culture change? If you guys are not yet doing network automation, if someone has suggested it or proposed it, would it be taken positively? Would it be received well? So yan. Kasi kung hindi kayo aprubahan ng nakakataas for automation, it just defeats the purpose. So try to talk it out. Try to recommend, suggest, mag-propose kayo. Tapos backupan nyo yun ng matinding proof of concept, then you're in for a treat. Kapag ikaw yung naging primary person dyan, pioneer, so medyo may maganda kang positioning, kumbaga, prepa, kumbaga sa bilyar. Alright, next is ease of deployment. Python as a programming language, you can't readily use it out of the box because you have to make something out of it first. Tulad nga ng sabi ko kanina. Ansible, on the other hand, is something na kapag sinet up mo sa isang Linux server or Linux box, install mo na siya, tapos na-ensure mo na nandyan na yung tamang mga IP, meron kayo IP reachability, saka SSH, gagana na yun. In ways na yung pag-develop mo na Ansible playbook is just very simple, using simple and human-readable syntax. So, ayun. Sino mas madaling i-deploy? At kailan at saan mo mami-minimize yung time for production bago mo sila magamit? Integration, yep. You should think in advance, what other systems are you guys using in which you might want to integrate with your network automation platform. Whether you're going the Python route or the Ansible route, think of other systems na in the future, in 1 to 3 to 5 years from now, kung nag-Ansible ka or Python ka, ano ba yung mga pwede nyong integrate? Ano ba yung mga gugustuhin ng boss mo na makita na ino-automate nyo pa aside from network? Okay, so it shouldn't be just a one-time thing. Papunta na kasi tayo dun sa direction ng pagiging full-stack engineers. So, as network engineers, hindi na tayo puro mano-manong routing and switching lang. So, pumapasok na yung coding tsaka programmability, di ba? So, if you wanna stay relevant in our field, you have to make a move to learn something new. At ito ay isa sa mga yon. Next, management or leader objectives. This ties up to culture change kung ready na sila. So, management or leadership objectives, mahabang usapan yan. So, are we ready for network automation? How much of support and budget would you be getting for network automation? Is your management or leadership that supportive of whichever path you're gonna take? Or would they require you to study it by yourself? So, ayan, alamin nyo yan. Have some open communication with your leadership about that. And of course, everything mentioned above is tied to a budget. So, kung medyo mataas yung position nyo, madali lang kasi baka kayo pa yung nagdidikta ng budget. Okay? So, however, budget really applies here practically sa skills tsaka learning curve. Whether you're going the Python or Ansible route, you have to learn something. You need to learn something new, so you need to go to training. Whether external training man yan or online, tulad ng ino-offer ko for White Logic. So, yun. So, that's gonna incur some costs, right? then you need to have the right devices, the right infrastructure, the right environment. So, kailangan mo ng server. Maraming galawan ng pera dyan. So, you have to take budget into consideration as well. Lalo na kung bibili ka ng Red Hat Ansible Tower, that one costs a lot. Okay, so mahal yun. Mahal yung Red Hat Ansible Tower. If you're just looking on some automation platform for your network, you might want to start out with AWX first. That's the free version of Red Hat Ansible Tower. Kung medyo may money na kayo, may budget kayo, di go for Tower. And you might even want to consider baka naman kaya nyo nang gawin yung automation nyo just by CLI commands. Use a Python script or use an Ansible playbook out of the CLI. Wala kayong GUI. Yun, libre yun. Kasi diba, open source naman yung dalawa. And that wraps up this video. Network automation, Python versus Ansible. So, if you guys like that discussion, at kung medyo na-peak ko yung interest nyo at gusto nyong matuto pa ng mas malalim, I'm actually offering, in partnership with WhiteLogic IT Training Solutions, I've developed a course, Practical Network Automation using Ansible, in which they would be distributing this training out. Okay, so sila yung distributor ng course content na ginawa ko. So this is an online training, 5-hour online course. We're going to talk about Ansible as the solution for network automation. So we're going to go in depth. We're going to be doing some codes. We're going to have some labs. You will learn network automation the quickest time possible, and you can immediately use it at work. So cool, diba? Tsaka no programming experience required. So as long as marunong ka ng networking, at least basic routing and switching, pwede ka na dito. So ayun. Kung interesado kayo, please drop your messages, questions, or inquiries to WhiteLogic IT Training Solutions and to any of these channels here. So, pwedeng physical visit, pwedeng email, or pwedeng tawag. At nasa Facebook din po sila. Alright, so that's about it, guys. Maraming salamat. Once again, this has been Coach Ian. Sana'y nakatulong yung video na to on choosing what network automation path is best for you. Thanks, everybody. Hi there. This is Coach Ian. I lead a network automation team, but do you know that ever since college, I hated programming? Ironic, isn't it? Karamihan ng mga nakatrabaho kong mga network engineers, they are all in the same boat. They hate programming. But sooner or later, whether you like it or not, you will be forced to program too. That's inevitable because network automation and programmability is a hot trend. Things are moving in this direction. Unti-unti na tayong nawawala sa panahon na we're manually configuring network devices one by one. So, if you are a network professional who wants to stay relevant in this field and is in need of network automation skills but hates programming, we just have the right thing for you. Check out our online course, Practical Network Automation using Ansible, and acquire the network automation skills the quickest time possible and then use it at work. No programming experience required.